Councilmember Price.
Thank you, Mr. President. Out of abundance of caution, I'm recusing myself from item 14. It's unclear who is working on this project.
All right, if we can prepare for public comment. City Attorney, Mr. Clark.
Yes, if I could have just one moment, Mr. President, I'm looking over the amendments really quick. Good morning. Which items would you like to speak to?
This is item 45 regarding film production permits in Los Angeles.
Okay, so you have 1 minute for the item.
Hello, my name is Greg Zukowski. I'm a member of the Directors Guild of America, the TV Academy, California United Stay in LA, and I represent a group of people trying to catch up Los Angeles and the state of California with our permitting process, our incentive program, and all the related bureaucracy that's built up over the years or has stayed behind. There was a great meeting yesterday in Sacramento where they talked about the incentive program, and Los Angeles now with item 45 has a chance to get ahead of a situation where we are no longer competitive in the marketplace. And by no longer competitive, I can tell you as someone who's lived here since 1990, 89 I moved here, I haven't worked in Los Angeles in 2 years. I've got 35 years in the business at what I do. And what that tells me is that we need to readdress what we're doing. And I think this is a great major step forward. And I want to thank Councilman Nazarian and his team for making this possible. And I think I have 1 second. So thank you guys very much.
Good morning. Which items would you like to speak to?
I'm here to make a general comment.
Okay, so you have 1 minute for general public comment. Go ahead.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. My name is Jake. I'm a student at the USC School of Social Work studying public policy. I'm here today to bring to your attention some vulnerable tenants in our city who are being exploited in cash for keys schemes, particularly in Koreatown, where many buyouts have occurred, targeting residents who may not be aware of their rights or experience language barriers. Particularly, there's a person in the city named Eduardo who had a $900 rent-controlled apartment, and he was offered $50,000 to vacate. And I'm here to bring attention to these schemes which have occurred in high numbers and may occur more now that we're experiencing a recession. I wanted to urge this body to strengthen tenant protections by requiring multilingual notification of tenant rights and creating a registry to track these offers. And yeah, just protect the most vulnerable in our city. Thank you for your time.
Which items would you like to speak to?
Good morning, City Council. I would like to speak to item 16. My name is Wendy Salvador, born and raised in South LA. It is an honor to be here speaking before you on behalf of our South Central LA youth. As a parent, I think it's very important that our students are involved with our community. We teach our children to speak respectfully, to lead, and to contribute to their community. When they come to City Hall, they should not be exposed to racist, hateful, and derogatory language from public speakers. These words cause real harm and take away from the important work our youth and our community are trying to do. We are asking you to protect this civic space, to make it a place where youth can grow, learn, and be inspired. Thank you for hearing our concerns and standing with us for a respectful City Hall. Thank you.
Good morning. Which items would you like to speak to?
Good afternoon, council members. My name is Isabella Galbraith, and I'm here to speak in favor of item 16. As someone who cares deeply about civic engagement, it is disheartening to walk into council meetings and witness language that dehumanizes and intimidates people, especially targeting communities that have historically been silenced. When slurs like the N-word or the C-word are used in this space, it doesn't simply offend. It sends a message that certain people don't belong here. This isn't about silencing viewpoints. It's about drawing the line between free speech and hate speech, because no valid point requires racial or gender-based slurs. If this council truly values public input, it must create a space where people feel safe and respected. These chambers should set the standard for how we disagree without demeaning and debate without hate. Please adopt these real changes and lead by example. Thank you.
Morning. Which items would you like to speak to?
Good morning, council members. I'm here to speak in favor of item 16. My name is Henry Munguia, and I live in Los Angeles. I believe that places such as these should encourage a civil and professional environment where everyone is able to speak and feel without hate or anger. Thank you.
Do we get to speak directly to item 16? Question? Can we speak directly to item 16?
Hold on just one second, sir. Your time has not started. I will let you know when it has. Okay, yes, and for clarification, public comment is also open on item 16. So yes, you can speak to item 16. Are there any other items you'd like to speak to?
No. 16 in public comment.
So you have 1 minute for the item and 1 minute for general. Go ahead.
Okay. Item 16. New York Times declared, according to the DOJ, that this is the most criminal city in the United States because it's bought off by developers and contractors. That's the DOJ, fools. No wonder you're in trouble. I have here, starting with the U.S. Constitution, this is nothing but law that says you can't do what you want to do. In 1919, it's declared in check. Can't even do it in time of war. You lost Zuma Dog. You lost the Hunt case. That's what, 1.314 million? And you continue with this, it's going to be worse than that. Now, Mr. City Attorney, you stupid fool that doesn't know the law and the contract.
General public comment?
Can't turn off my sound. Who do you think you people are, you bunch of criminals? You don't follow the law. We're going to take your bar licenses, fools. You're right now been taking my health care. I need a kidney removed. I've had 8 doctors abandon me in the last 5 months because of you. I was just in the emergency room and almost had to be transfused because of you. So if you think I'm going to back off on you fools, you're going to have to deal with the law, fool, because here it is. And don't try to not take it like everybody else does, because you're scared little babies. And you should be, because you're going down.
Hi, my name is Dayanara Munguia, and I'm part of the Redeemer Community Partnership Youth Greenhouse in South Los Angeles. I'm here to speak in support of item 16 and to share why this matters to me and my community. At the Greenhouse, we work on issues that impact our lives every day, like safe streets, clean air, and making sure our voices are heard. We've seen youth get hit by cars. We walked past oil drill sites and breathed in polluted air. And we've been part of projects to make South LA safer, healthier, and more hopeful. But it's hard to fight for safety in our community and then come to a place like City Hall and still feel unsafe. When people use words like the N-word or the C-word in public meetings, it's not just disrespectful, it's harmful. It makes us feel unwelcome. It sends the message that we don't belong here, even though we're the ones showing up and doing the work to make change. We need City Hall to be a space where we feel safe to speak up, a space that respects all communities, Black, brown, immigrant youth. We need our leaders to create a civic space that matches the kind of future we're trying to build in South LA. One that's safe, respectful, and full of opportunity. Please support item 16 and help make City Hall safe for youth like me. Thank you.
Good morning, council members. My name is Emily Salazar, and I'm a 16-year-old girl, and I'm a part of RCP Youth. I'm here to speak in strong support of item number 16. As a young person learning how important civic engagement is, I want to feel like I belong in spaces like this. But when people use hateful language like the N-word or the C-word during public meetings, it creates a negative and disrespectful environment that pushes people away. Instead of encouraging more people to get involved, it makes us feel discouraged, uncomfortable, and unsafe. It sends the message that not everyone is welcome to participate, especially young people, women, and people of color. Everyone should feel safe to share their voices without the fear of being disrespected or harassed. Respect should be the baseline in spaces where decisions that affect our communities are being made. Passing these rule changes would make it clear that hate speech has no place here, and that civic spaces are meant to be inclusive and welcoming to everyone. Thank you so much for listening.
Item 45, my name is Robert Paulson. I'm a location manager and a member of the Teamsters 399. My daughter's going to graduate from college in about 2 weeks, and 21 years ago when she was born, I promised to be a good parent. That involves saying no quite a bit, and as everyone knows with children, they don't like to hear no, and it made for a difficult parenting situation. So my wife and I made a decision, a conscious decision, to say yes more often. Things got a little bit easier that way. I'm asking in this item 45 specifically about the permitting process that departments and the council say yes more often than they say no. That no's cost production more in money and productivity than just a simple yes. So please, as you consider this motion, that you say yes. That's all.
Good morning, council members. My name is Alexia, and I'm a part of the RCP youth at the Greenhouse South LA. We are here today because we care about the future of our city, but we also want to speak up about what happens inside this room. When people come here and use racist words, hateful terms, or disrespectful language, it hurts everyone, especially young people like me who are trying to learn and get involved. We shouldn't have to hear the N-word or other slurs in a public meeting where we come to discuss important topics like street safety, jobs, and climate change. We're asking you to please protect this space, to make City Hall a place where youth feel respected, safe, and valued. Thank you.
I'd like you to hold my time for a moment while a packet is being distributed on number 15 to committee, because that was supposed to happen beforehand. So there is a packet.
In order to distribute it, you have to give it to the sergeants. You can do that after your comment as well.
I don't think it's been distributed. Do you have?
Understood. Then what we're going to do is because we need to keep public comment going. So I'm going to ask that the other person comes up, or you can begin your public comment now and we can circulate it after it's given to the sergeants.
Then I will begin.
Go ahead.
I think that this speaks to the frustration that the constituents feel in the process that this has taken place. On April 3rd, 2024, City Planning staffer Jane Choi issued a letter on City Planning letterhead indicating a Verizon project that we know about. We know about this project, and they deemed it approved. And it was approved just as is. No conditions were issued, no mitigations were put in place, despite the fact that the legally recognized decision-making body for this project, East Area Planning Commission, had not even held the public hearing for this project. City planning letters included the following. Federal Communications Commission, FCC, established a 15-day shot clock for this and other similar wire facilities and cited some statistics. No action was taken prior to the expiration of the time to act, which was July 13th, 2023. In view of the above, the application was deemed approved. The letter did not include a means of approval.
Next speaker.
Hi, my name is Kenneth Galbraith, and as someone who is invested in the future of our community, I believe our council meetings should reflect respect and productive dialogue. Dehumanizing language like the N-word and C-word creates an environment where real solutions are overshadowed by division. When public meetings are filled with hostility, it discourages people, especially youth and marginalized communities, from engaging. We need a space where we can freely share our ideas without fear of intimidation or disrespect. These rule changes will establish clear standards for respectful communication and show that our community is committed to fostering an environment where everyone's voice is valued. I urge the council to adopt these changes and set a positive example for the future of our city. Let's create a space where all our voices are welcome to contribute to meaningful progress. Thank you.
Good morning. Which items would you like to speak to?
Good morning, council members. My name is Arlene Rano from the Redeemer Community Partnership Youth. I am here to speak in favor of item 16 and make a general comment. It is important to have a nice place where we can talk to our council members without having the feeling of feeling scared or bad. Using harmful words like the N-word and the C-word is wrong. It makes students and youth feel like it's bad, and it teaches them the wrong things. I've seen how mean words hurt people in our community. We need a place where everyone feels safe and good. That is why I support item number 16. Thank you.
Number 8, if we're gonna go underground and put electrical, yes, the valley should be in line. The reason we're speaking about going underground is because we got a blank slate. Palisades burned down. So instead of building something up, we move forward with progress. It's not because the valley's last.
Okay, can you
but
pause
it will
this
be
time?
last.
Mr. Speaker, I'm pausing your time, okay? So you're speaking to item number 3, which is not open for public comment. So as a courtesy, I'm gonna remind everybody in the room, the items open for public comment on the agenda are items 2, items 35 through 49, and item 50. So for the remainder of your 2 minutes and 38 seconds, I'm gonna ask that you please stick to items 2, items 35 through 49, or item 50. If you'd like to speak to item 3 or item 8, which I think you mentioned, or any other item, 16 is also open, yes. If you'd like to speak to any of the items I did not mention, you can do so during general. Go ahead.
15, the tower.
15 is not, I'll repeat it one more time. Hold his time. The items open for public comment are items 2, items 16, items 35 through 49, and item 50. Any other item that I did not mention, you can speak to during general for 1 minute. Go ahead.
Number 16. Again, I applaud these students, young students here. Articulate, very well spoken. And although people do have the right to use a C and N word, and it's already legally been debated in this chamber or in law and lost to the city, unfortunately, it shows intelligence to the new future that these kids would want this out of this chamber. How you have to come about it is up to you. But as a city attorney that I saw at yesterday's meeting, you had the transgender community with a flag behind them, rotating around behind them. How do you allow one and not the other? You need to stay on base, not just one or the other. They rotated around here with a flag, and you were okay with that. Explain that to us. So 16 needs to be that we need to be able to speak on what we need to speak on. And it can't be nothing less than that. I wish the adults had the respect for the children and the elderly, but I can't force that hand. I can't force that hand.
So you've exhausted your 1 minute on this item. You can continue during general if you'd like, but please move on to another item.
Okay, let's go with 15, general public comment, the tower.
Okay, so you have 1 minute. Go ahead.
Jesus Christ. Do you really need to be heard that much? The point being that the tower is going to be there whether it's legal or not. That it ran out of time, it shouldn't be there. We sold the Hollywood Hill. Chicago was going to build mansions up there until when they went to pull the permits, they found out it was a mistake. So they stopped it. Don't tell me we're going to be lawsuit. This is in their neighborhood. Don't put the cell tower there because it brings you revenue. Don't allow it. To the city people, the same thing. Ms. Hernandez, you just said medical. You're about to lay off 1,632 people. How do you think they're going to survive with no medical, no money for rent, no money for food? You guys could all give up $100,000. That's 1.5, a drop in the bucket. Mayor Bass is going to give up some of everything. We can extend this until we have to lay people off. We don't have to. Please do not lay these people off. They work too hard for us.
Next speaker.
Good morning. I'd like to speak to item 45. My name is Malachi Simmons. I'm the Vice President of IATSC Local 728, which represents 3,000 members in the craft of lighting for motion picture and television. I'd like to address this chamber and thank them for bringing item 45 to the floor. For over 100 years, Los Angeles has been the capital of entertainment and film and television in the world. We're now experiencing a reduction of work due to going outside of Los Angeles to other states and countries, and I believe this bill will help make it easier to bring work back to Los Angeles. So thank you for bringing this to the floor, and I urge an aye vote. Also, I just want to stand in solidarity with the students speaking on behalf of item 16. Thank you.
Good morning. Which items would you like to speak to?
Good morning. I'm speaking on general public comment and item number 16.
Okay, so you have 1 minute for the item and 1 minute for general. Go ahead.
Good morning, Council President and members of the LA City Council. My name is Itzel, and I serve as an assistant principal in South LA. I'm here today to speak in support of item 16 and to offer public comment on behalf of students, families, and educators I work with every day. As someone who works closely with young people, many of whom are first-generation English learners or come from historically underserved communities, I see firsthand how critical it is that public spaces like this one reflect the values that we want to install in the next generation: respect, safety, and dignity. When harmful, dehumanizing language like the N-word and C-words are used in these chambers, it doesn't just create an uncomfortable environment. It sends a harmful message to our youth. These spaces are not for them, that their voice, their culture, and their experience are not welcome. I've had students ask me, is anyone gonna say something? That's not the lesson that I want them to walk away with. Our young people should be learning that their voice matters. That civic engagement is a tool for empowerment, not a space where they have to brace themselves for harm. Supporting item 16 is a step towards protecting the integrity of these spaces. It's a commitment to creating an environment where everyone, especially youth and community members, can show up, can speak up, and can be treated with humanity. This is a serious issue that I stand with all my students. Just because you are different does not mean your voice is less important. Thank you for taking this issue seriously. Thank you for working to make these chambers more inclusively, but more importantly, thank you for giving us the opportunity to show respect for the students, for the community, and for the city of LA. Thank you so much, everyone.
As a school's principal in South LA, I'm here not just as an educator, but as someone who works daily with young people who are watching how adults lead and how we show up in our community and how we treat one another. I support item 16 because it's important to me and the families and the youth that I serve, that we all have access to a civil space that is respectful, safe, and conducive to genuine dialogue, a space where our youth feel empowered, not dismissed, where our families can participate without feeling harassed or intimidated. When people use language like the N-word or the C-word in these chambers, or anywhere in public discourse, it's not just a shock in the room, it sends a clear message to our young people that there is no expectation of dignity, that hatred is allowed, that their voice doesn't matter. And for youth in South LA, many of them who are Black and brown, that message hits especially hard. I've seen the impact of this firsthand. Students have asked me why adults get away with things they would be suspended for. They're confused, they're discouraged, and they start to believe that civic spaces aren't meant for them. That's why I support item 16, not to silence anyone, but support to raise the standard, to protect the right of our communities, especially our young people, to engage in the civil law life without fear. Also, as a parent, it would be an amazing component to it to make sure that my children are here and to witness how it really works. But with that fear, bringing them in and being them out here to hear that language, it is my fear that I do not bring them in. I do support item 16, and I thank you for your time.
Good morning. Which items would you like to speak to?
Good morning. Item 16 and general comment.
Okay, so you have 1 minute for the item and 1 minute for general. Go ahead.
Good morning. My name is Oscar Romero. I'm here to support item 16. It's important to me and my community to have a conducive and respectful civic space to engage with our council people without feeling discouraged, uncomfortable, harassed. Using language like the N or C word discourages our youth and sends the wrong message. As the principal of a high school in Lincoln Heights, we have been working very hard with creating spaces for our students so that with clubs like No Place for Hate, so that we are making sure that students know how to disagree in a respectful way and really learn to have those communications as they continue their learning. I think it will be very important as they graduate from high school and they go into the real world that they can count on spaces like here where they can feel able to voice their opinions and work for their entire community. Thank you.
I'm here to speak in support of item 16. As a social studies teacher for over a decade and now working on the school leadership team, I work with young people every day. And one of our goals is to help them grow into engaged, informed citizens who participate in civic life. But as you may know, public comment sessions have unfortunately included frequent instances of inappropriate, offensive, and racist language. That's one of the reasons we have been reluctant to bring students to observe or even participate in meetings. In support of this proposal and in alignment with our network's No Place for Hate initiative and broader commitment to anti-racism, we're raising our voices today to advocate for a more inclusive and respectful space at City Hall. Our youth are watching. When harmful slurs are allowed to go unchecked in civic spaces, it tells them that their presence and their dignity do not matter. That is not the message we want to send. This proposal is not about silencing disagreement. It is about raising the bar on how we engage with one another. Thank you for your time and for considering the voices of students, educators, and community members
Speaker, your
who
time is
believe in a better standard for public discourse.
Estoy aquí para que el seguro médico y salario.
I am here to talk about the medical insurance and wages.
Es muy importante para mí.
This is something very important to me
Y mi familia
and my family.
Y mi familia piense que en la gente trabajadora del aeropuerto. Gracias.
And also, I'm here in support of the working people, and we work at LAX. Thank you.
Ed Duffy, Teamsters Local 399. We represent location managers, drivers, casting directors, animal trainers, and others that work in the motion picture industry. And I appreciate Mr. Nazarian for bringing this motion forward. We've been, yesterday a lot of us were up in Sacramento fighting for our film tax credits, which we hope we can actually accomplish this year. We've had this challenge for many years where we are not as appreciated in our neighborhoods and in our businesses around town. Many of you know that. We have a lot of conversations about improving filming in Los Angeles. We need to continue that. We need to change the culture of the response to us filming in neighborhoods. It seems like there's always a major pushback. There's always no's. There's always more costs and more costs. We know that the city is definitely having a budget problem, but we need to solve some of these problems. We need to fix some of these costs that we have. Thank you.
My name is Rachel Angel. I'm speaking on item 45.
Please go ahead.
I am part of Local 706 as a hairstylist, and I support this measure. While LA is not my home originally, I consider myself a native, and the film industry has become my family, and I am very passionate about what I do. So let's continue to bring the work back to LA. Thank you.
Thank you.
Trabajo en el LAX. Estoy aquí porque aumento de salario y de cobertura de médico.
Yes, my name is Julio Hernandez. I work in LAX, and I'm here asking for a wage increase as well as medical benefits to cover me as my family as well.
Para mi familia tengo 3 hijos y dependen de mí como padre y le pido por su apoyo. Gracias.
Because I have 3 children and they depend on me as their father to support them. Thank you.
Hi, council members. Thank you. My name is Martin Weeks. I am the president of IATSE Local 728, and on behalf of the 3,000 members of my union, I urge the council to vote in support of the motion put forth by Assemblymember Nazarian. Any headwinds for production is causing production to leave Los Angeles, and it's causing our members to lose their jobs and have a lack of work. So I urge the council to vote in support. Thank you.
Hello, which items did you want to speak on?
To begin, I would like to speak on behalf of the Sherman Oaks Neighborhood Council with the CIS that we filed for item 16, council file number 16-1104-S3.
Okay, and you're the designated representative speaking?
President
Okay.
Nimber designated me to speak,
Okay.
yes.
You have 5 minutes. Please go ahead.
Great, thank you.
2 minutes, sorry.
I'm sorry, 5 or 3?
3, my mistake.
Okay. I'll begin with an introduction that the president wrote when she filed the CIS. The Sherman Oaks Neighborhood Council, in a 12-1 vote at its April 14, 2025 meeting, adopted a position to oppose Council File 16-1104-S3, proposing an amendment to City Council rules to prohibit the use of certain words and slurs. Although we share Council's revulsion at such offensive language, SONC in debate noted rules already exist to address fighting words, threats, and other disruptions pursuant to California law. And furthermore, this proposed rule violates the First Amendment of the U.S. Constitution, California's Brown Act, among others, and opens the city to significant legal liability pertaining to the infringement of the rights of City Council's constituency. While promoting authoritarianism and censorship in an era when our very democracy is at risk, thanks to rules and actions similar to this, for those aforementioned reasons, SONC requests our representative, Councilmember Nithya Raman, withdraw her second, especially given that Councilmember Raman's reasons for opposing SONC's position on past efforts included, but are not limited to, the Ethel Development Project and Bonds of Helen at least, was her concern that voting with her constituency would expose the city to legal liability. As this proposed rule would undoubtedly result in significant legal liability exposure, we request Councilmember Raman use this consistent logic to oppose this motion. Council file reads, the Sherman Oaks Neighborhood Council strongly opposes Council File 16-1104-S3. While we do not condone the use of any slurs or epithets during council meetings or at any time, we consider this attempt by City Council to ban members of the public from using specific words during public comment period a blatant attack on free speech as guaranteed by the First Amendment of the United States Constitution. The language used in the court case cited as precedent in this council file, Chaplinsky versus New Hampshire, 315 U.S. 568, 1942, which was directed at a U.S. Marshal arresting Chaplinsky, was, "You are a goddamned racketeer and a damned fascist." In the news outlet Westside Current, Council President Harris-Dawson is quoted as saying he expects his colleagues to add additional language, and this is as much a step as we can take at this moment, we believe, but we think it will open us up to take additional steps in the future, indicating that the two epithets outlined in the council file are just the starting point to this attempt at dictating what the public can and cannot say during public comment period at City Council meetings. The council president also stated that he's eager to get in front of a judge, indicating that he anticipates lawsuits will be filed against the city for violation of free speech as guaranteed by the First Amendment. In the case Michael Hunt v. City of Los Angeles, the City of Los Angeles paid $215,000 to settle with the plaintiffs. An LA Times article about the case published June 12, 2014 states Councilman Bernard C. Parks described the payment as a business decision, arguing that the city would have to pay far more had the case gone to trial. A judge in a separate federal case recently found that Los Angeles violated the free speech rights of two other men who were repeatedly ejected from council meetings. Although the jury awarded each man only $1, the city still had to pay around $600,000. I'll continue this statement for my comment on item 16, and then I'll be speaking on all comments and general comment in my individual capacity. Thank you. Considering the significant liability costs of the City of Los Angeles incurs every year, this is an irresponsible misuse of power on the part of City Council that has potential to burden taxpayers with costly litigation and or settlement payouts. We note that while the motion on this council file was introduced on March 21st, 2025, there are several written comments submitted that are dated before that, as early as February 2025, and many submitted after March 21st that are dated prior to March 21st in the document submitted as comment. The pattern of early submissions raises concerns about coordinated messaging not originating from independent community members. We request Councilmember Nithya Raman of District 4 remove her second on this motion. We request this item be withdrawn from consideration. We strongly urge a no vote if it's considered. And I have a copy of that council file for each of the council members. If I could have a sergeant please come and disseminate those. Now moving on, I am now speaking in my individual capacity and no longer representing the Sherman Oaks Neighborhood Council. Thank you. I'd like to move on to item 45. So I'd like to point out that in 2024, Disney CEO Bob Iger was paid $41.1 million to serve in his capacity. David Zaslav, Warner Brothers CEO, to whom Nithya Raman granted a day, Warner Brothers Day, right before the writing strikes happened, he earned $51.9 million in 2024. Netflix CEO Ted Sandaros had a $60 million payout for his role in 2024. I really support our filmmakers and artists. However, I think it's clear that these production companies are not strapped for cash when they're paying their CEOs tens of millions of dollars every year. So maybe we could ask them to contribute due fees when they are filming. I'd also like to speak on the many motions to light up City Hall for various things. It costs $438 every time we do this. We don't really have an explanation as to why it costs that much, but it does. One of these items is in recognition of the Armenian genocide, which was a terrible, harrowing, tragic event. I just want to point out that while City Council members spent a lot of time honoring the Armenian genocide last week and the week before, and we say never again. Never again is right now, and no one here has acknowledged the ongoing genocide that's being perpetrated against Palestine, particularly Councilmember Rahman, who voted yes to adopt the IHRA definition of anti-Semitism, which criminalizes any criticism of Israel. So we can see where item 16 is headed with regard to the things they want to kick people out for saying in this chambers. Please, council members, acknowledge the genocide that's happening right now, especially if you're going to make lofty speeches and wax poetic about making sure that atrocities of the past never happen again. Never again is right now. Thank you for paying attention, Kern Price. General public comment? Budget. The budget that Mayor Bass has proposed is some kind of disappointing joke. Deep cuts, layoffs to critical staff who are making sure the city goes. Well, don't you think that you should have listened to what Kenneth Mejia said on liabilities and revenue projections? Council, know it's on you to reject the mayor's budget. Hey, the people have had their say, so you're gonna listen because they're your constituents. Cuts should come from your own salaries, not from departments that the city needs. Thank you, audience. Shout out Smoke and Scan.
I'd like to call up more names.
My name is Corey Moore. I am a union representative from IATSE Local 80. We represent over 3,600 members of the film and entertainment industry, including grips, craft service, medics, and Marines. I want to combat this talk about corporations having the money to be able to afford these permit costs in the city of Los Angeles. The people who are hurting by this process are not the corporations. They are the ones who are going to continue to take the work out of the city and away from our citizens. We need to fight to lower these film costs, to expedite the process, to streamline the process, to make it easier for people like myself and the members that I represent and the thousands, the hundreds of thousands of crew members that are really suffering by these exorbitant costs. The costs that push corporations to take the work out of the city of LA. A perfect example would be yesterday I received a call. A member had, he was asked to use a special piece of equipment, and it cost too much because there's extra costs on Film LA. We need to streamline these costs for the members and the working class.
Your time has expired. Next. Good morning. Which items would you like to speak to?
Good morning. I'm going to do general comment in item 16.
Okay, so you have 1 minute for the item and 1 minute for general. Go ahead.
Well, good morning, members of LA City Council. My name is Greg Bettis, and I serve as a community schools coordinator in South Los Angeles, where I live and I work directly with students, families, and educators who are passionate about building a more just and engaged city. I'm really here today in strong support of the motion, really to eliminate that specific hate speech from City Hall chambers. Let me be clear, I don't believe this is really about censorship. It's really about creating a space where democracy can actually thrive. Free speech for a long time has been a cornerstone of civic life. But hate speech is not the same as free speech. There's a line between disagreement and dehumanization, and that line has often been crossed too many times in this room. Our goal as an educator is to start bringing students regularly, not just for field trips, but as a part of developing their civic development. I want them, our students, to see their leaders in action. It's important that they learn how to advocate, organize, and speak the truth to power.
General public comment?
But I often hesitate because right now the space doesn't always feel safe for young people. This motion gives us a path forward. It's a chance to reaffirm our commitment to civic discourse, to show that we can disagree without degrading, that we can be passionate without being poisonous. If we want our youth to believe in this process, to invest in it, to participate in it, we need to model the very values we seek them to uphold: respect, accountability, and courage. So I want to make this chamber a space where everybody feels welcome. I want to make this chamber a no place for hate. Thank you.
That concludes public comment. Thank you.
Okay, so Mr. Herman, hold on. So we have taken over an hour public comment. I also want to let everybody know that my understanding is that we will, for anybody who wasn't able to speak on this item, there will be another, on item 16, which I believe that's what some of these folks are upset about. There will be another opportunity to speak if and when council votes on the actual rule change. So as the clerk's office, Mr. Herman, I did not warn you before, but I'm warning you now. Do not disrupt this meeting. This is your first and only formal warning. So again, as the clerk explained at the top of the meeting, council will take no action on item 16 today. It is only to introduce the rule, and that is pursuant to Council Rule 77. So the approval of the rule will have to wait at least a week. Thank you.
I wanted to just take a minute and first of all say thank you to Stay in LA and IATSE, laborers, everybody else that's here. It's wonderful to see all of you here, but I have to tell you, I really wish you also were not here. I wish you were out filming. I wish you were in our neighborhood streets. I wish you were continuing to generate revenue, not only for your families, but also for the city, so that we can continue repaving the streets, fixing the sidewalks, doing all of the things necessary to keep you continuously working as well on those very streets and sidewalks. So, colleagues, this motion is focused on revitalizing local filming production, streamlining the city's permitting process, making it more efficient and less bogged down by bureaucracy. It also aims to increase access to city-owned property for filming and prevent price gouging that drives up everyday production costs. Simply put, this is about protecting middle-class workers and also the very industry that established Los Angeles on the world map and made us into the filming hub of the world. Colleagues, I don't want to speak too long about this. I just want to point out something very critically important for all of us. Back in the mid-'80s, every single one of the tentpole productions, all the blockbusters were generated right here in Los Angeles. By 2003, half of the blockbusters made around the world were from California. By 2013, none of them were. We've been regressing and losing so much ground. Now we're losing commercials and platforms and mini-series. We can't have this happen. Sacramento's got to do what it's got to do, but we can do what we can do here to make sure that we're protecting the very industry that put Los Angeles on the map, and also make sure that we're continuing to not only preserve, but grow this industry. So thank you all very much for being here.
Thank you so much, Mr. President. I just want to thank you, Council Member Nazarian, for leading this and for allowing me to be a part of this. I could not say the words better than you have in this moment. And for the folks that are here today, you know, I think we all have friends, families that are talking about how difficult it has been ever since, the labor unrest of the last couple of years ago. Just yesterday, I was at a coffee shop in my district and I ran into my friend who is now working another job. And he's saying he can't find work, the production is leaving. And so I think when we really humanize the issue, I think we act with a certain level of empathy and a certain desire to do as much as we can. And so I was very happy to be a partner on this because we should have production in the city of Los Angeles. We should have it in Hollywood. It's where it belongs, and let's do everything in our power to make sure that we keep it here in the City of Angels. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Councilmember Nazarian, thank you for your leadership on this. Thank you to everyone who is here from Stay in LA and from all of our labor partners. I'm only here because my husband's in the industry, so that's what brought me to Los Angeles. I want to stay in Los Angeles. I want this industry to stay in Los Angeles. It defines Los Angeles. We are absolutely defined by production, which we are seeing less and less of every single year. I wanted to say that, I'm very hopeful that we will get the tax credit that we need to keep jobs here, to let us work here in Los Angeles. I'm very hopeful that Sacramento has heard that call. But this motion is about making sure that the city is doing its part to make sure that production stays here. We are asking for help from the rest of the state in order to make sure that we can be as competitive as other jurisdictions that have offered a lot of these tax credits to film locally. But in Los Angeles, Film LA and the other bureaucracy that we've put in place has made it too hard and too expensive for productions, especially smaller productions, to film here. I know because we've tried to address those issues in my district and found it devastatingly complicated. We have to fix that. We have to get serious about making sure that production stays in Los Angeles. We have to do everything in our power to make sure that people can go back to work and spend in Los Angeles, live in Los Angeles, raise their kids in Los Angeles. Thank you so much to all of you for being out here. Thank you again, Councilmember Nazarian and Councilmember soto-martinez for leading this work. And we are going to fight to make sure that this industry thrives here. Thank you all.
Thank you, Council President and Councilmember Nazarian. Thank you so much for your leadership in bringing this critical motion to us today. As Chair of Trade, Travel, and Tourism, I couldn't be more concerned about the mass jobs that we are losing out of the city of Los Angeles, where we have some of the most iconic streets and landscapes and sets anywhere in the world. And this is an industry that is absolutely fundamental to our identity as Angelenos. And I want to be clear, I live in an IATSE household, and we have been consistently impacted since the pandemic. It is so incredibly urgent that we continue this fight to keep production right here in the city of Los Angeles. I am fighting to bring it to the west side, to keep it on the west side, where 1 in 5 of my constituents work in your business. We got to do this, guys, and I'm really, really honored to rise and offer my support for this, and I urge and I vote from everyone. Thank you so much.
I very much agree with what Councilmember Nazarian just said. I really wish you didn't have to be here, right? I'm somebody who attended the Stay in LA rally that happened just recently. It was held in my district, and I wanted to make sure that I was part of that conversation because I represent a district that is filled with what I call the blue-collar jobs of Hollywood. And growing up with a lot of individuals that made it into that industry who love to, when you hang out with these workers, they're not the sort of workers that really want to have a conversation about the politics. At least they never were in my world. It was always about talking about creative things, fun things, cool things, the awesome things that make our city. So when a few years ago, everyone started to worry and start to talk to me about how Los Angeles and California hasn't done its part to help this workforce, I'm very angry. I'm equally angry for you. But similar to what I said at the rally, is that I ask you to continue to hold us accountable at all levels of government to make sure that we stop politicizing your jobs, because it has been politicized. I vividly remember being an early young advocate in my 20s and hearing state leaders say, we renew the tax credit at the state of in Sacramento every 2 years so that it lines up with elections and we could take the credit. incredibly inappropriate when we know that some of the productions that you guys do can take up to 2 to 5 years to create an amazing movie. But we want to say that we're only going to give you a tax credit for 2 years? I'm sorry, but you should demand more. To me, 5 years at the Sacramento level with the bills that are at the table is still too little. If we really want you to stay here, we should be able to give you tax credits for up to 10 years. And on behalf of the city of Los Angeles, it's why I also wanted to incorporate an amendment where we ask ourselves, why is our head so big that we have limited some of the locations where we can film? And instead what we need to do is make sure that when your creative producers and whatnot want to utilize the city of Los Angeles, that we make it easier for you to use our locations or give you alternatives as opposed to making it harder. So please count on me as someone that is here, definitely as an I vote, and I am really ready, sick, and tired of your jobs becoming politicized. Let's keep Hollywood, and let's continue to make sure that it doesn't go to other states. Thank you.
Thank you, colleagues, and I just wanted to rise and join you in your support of this important work. And I want to thank you all for showing up today. But colleagues, it's not just about how we reduce the fee structures and how we really look at some of the hindrances that we have here just with respect to procedurally how they schedule this work. The reality is that our very own street infrastructure oftentimes can be an impediment to how we actually avail those filming opportunities in Los Angeles. And we have to make sure that when we are identifying policies that are going to basically tie our hands to what we are forced to finance in terms of our street reconstruction efforts, that oftentimes we are going to impede the very industry that we are looking to keep here in Los Angeles. So I say this with respect to it not just being about the permit fees. It's about everything that we do here in the city. That we're either going to create a more hospitable environment that looks like the streets of New York or the streets of Los Angeles, and actually they're able to film here because we create this environment that allows them to film as if they are in any other part of the world. The more we the more we change the streetscape of Los Angeles, frankly, the more we impede our ability to create this environment that is hospitable to filming in Los Angeles. So it's not just in our fee restructuring. It's all of the above, that we have to continue to understand that the decisions that we make here around this horseshoe are not just about tax credits. It's about making sure that we don't create obstacles to further filming on the streets of Los Angeles, and that is critically important. I want to thank you all for being here because this industry is not just about your jobs. It's about how we continue to finance the existence of restaurants in this city. When you are financially able to patron and the dollars stay here in Los Angeles, the stronger our local economy is. And for that, I continue to remain supportive. I want to thank, I see some residents from my district here. I'm very proud to have a very strong population of IATSE members in my district, and of course, LIUNA members. Thank you guys for being here. Let's continue to work together, particularly as I'm seeing more development of studios come to my district and Ms. Padilla's district. We are eager to see those studios filled with your continued activity. Let's keep filming in Los Angeles. Thank you.
Seeing no other speakers on the queue, let's open the roll, close the roll, and unanimously tally the vote.
15 ayes.
This item is adopted as amended.
All right, this item is agreed to.